Luke, it looks like you got a heck of a quandary at quarterback. Just where do you go from here? I mean, Joe was ineffective. You live with the turnovers with Braxton for the long haul, and how do you look at it?
I mean, we're not going to jump to any conclusions until we get back. I mean, I think we got to really do a great job at sitting down and trying to figure out how we need to move forward, and where our focus is going to be, and with the guys we have, and how we can get the ball into different guys' hands, and what we can do to be successful. So there's a lot of areas we know we've got to make sure we go back and take a real hard look at the areas we need to get better.
Is that the biggest thing, though? Is that the biggest decision you got to make early on there?
No, I mean, I think that's the glaring one to the people outside. But I think stopping a run defensively is something that we talked. My first thing we had to do this week was to start fast, and I think the number one thing we didn't do defensively was start fast. So there's a lot of blame to around the whole team here. So we're not going to blame each other. We're going to go back. We're going to take a hard look at it and figure out where we need to go to move forward.
Regarding your start defensively, by surprise.
No, I mean, again, I got to give them credit. They made a good play, and the pressure on the first play, and it creases us a little bit. We miss a couple tackles, and they're off to the races. That's the one thing defensively that we pride ourselves on, is not giving up big plays. And I mean, some of those other ones that they get around the edge or things. There's little things we can correct up, but those big plays are the things that they're going to eat us alive.
I mean, the two touchdowns to Hearns. I mean, you got possession on Howard, I think, on the first one, and Roby on the second one. So just those two touchdowns. What kind of hole? Describe the hole that puts you guys in.
No, I mean, again, that's our whole idea was to start fast, and we knew coming in here that they were going to have a heck of a team, and we wanted to get off this good start, and it obviously didn't happen. So they made a couple good plays there on their touchdown catches, and we didn't make the plays when we needed to. So I don't know anything more just yet.
You guys started Howard. Was that I think Travis Howard at corner, and Dominic Clark didn't. And just what was he just thinking there? He's your best corner. Or?
Yeah, I mean, we were excited to get him back, and I mean, we kind of had that feeling going along the whole time, and those guys kind of battled it out and continue to battle it out, and through practice and everything, and we know we're going to need all of them. So, I mean, to me, we try to make sure those guys don't focus on who gets the start and who gets how many numbers of plays, and but how we can best help the team.
You started to kind of pound the rock there and had some success, but you had to settle for the field goals. Was that the bright spot of the day?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to see some of us be able to run the football, and I think that if we could do a better job, maybe starting off defensively, we can let our offense get into that groove a little bit better too. So, I mean, it's the whole thing. I mean, we got to know to put us all on each other's back and make sure that we understand that we got to do this as a team, and it starts with figuring out what this team does best, and we're going to continue to do that.
Finding something to hang your hat on. Is the use of the quarterbacks governed by Coach Bolton? Do you feel like you have to cross over now and make?
No, I mean, we do things as a staff, and
when he fumbled it and Braxton got in the hook, that was his call.
Yeah, I mean, they we had a plan right there in that series, and we were going to do a couple things. And when you get yourself back behind the 8 ball a little bit, we don't want to try not to put him in a situation that he wasn't comfortable in too. So, those are all those psychological things that we got to make sure we're doing a better job of with those guys. They understand we have a plan, and going in, they're very clear on our plan, and we're just going to have to continue to do a better job and figuring out what those guys can do good.
Can you talk about the risk and reward with Braxton, because he does give you some things?
Yeah, and there's a lot, and but there's some things that if we give Joe a little bit more opportunities, maybe to throw some things and do some things too, that there can be some reward there as well. So it's hard to say just yet. I mean, we all feel bad. I mean, every single one of us in that locker room are going to look in the mirror and try and figure out what it is we need to do to be better. But it's hard to point a finger at any in particular thing. I know it's a little bit easier sometimes than you guys maybe to look at the quarterback or at the number of yards of certain things, but we got to look at the whole.
Did y'all pay a little bit of a price today, you think, for relatively inexperienced receivers? Because there are a lot of times guys that didn't look open and stuff. I mean, what was the feedback you were getting, I guess, from the press box on that?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to do a better job all around, and I mean, we know we're going to get some of those things with some of those young guys, and if you don't we don't have the opportunity to take some shots down the field and things, and it's hard to loosen those things up. So as a whole, we've got to do a better job, and some of those young guys are thrown in a position where we're asking them to step up and make some plays, and ultimately when it comes down to it, they made a lot more plays than we made, whether it was running the football. There are a couple of catches they made on some big situations, and that's ultimately what the game comes down to.
What's a play that right now just sticks with you, though? I mean, obviously, Braxton's home there in the fourth. Y'all were moving the ball. It was still an 11-point game. But then at the end of the first half, they hit the big pass and sets up their field goal. It gives them a little bit of advantage. What kind of sticks with you?
I mean, to me, that first play of the game, too. They crease us on a pressure that we should be pretty decent in, and those kinds of things hurt. And sometimes it messes with your psyche too, especially when you're talking about getting off to a fast start. And so there's a lot of different. I mean, we left a lot of them out there, and that's the name of the game. We got to do a better job, and we have those opportunities, and we got to take them.
Couple more questions.
What's the key for you guys going forward now this week to sort of not let this loss fester or linger or follow you guys along? How do you think? What do you go about approaching that?
Our 17 hours, man. And once our 17 hours are up, we got to move on. And I think the thing is that we all stay together. Hopefully every one of these guys will come in here and they won't point a finger or have any blame on anything. We'll talk about what they did and how they need to get better. And I think that's the ultimate toughest thing. You really find out what kind of character you have from a loss like this. On the road and see what you do when you go home.
Stopping the running game, what was the problem?
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to really go back and take a look at it. But, I mean, obviously he's a very good back. They got a good offensive line. I'm not taking anything away from them. They do a great job. And, we knew it. But, we had some missed tackles and some things that happened maybe in the first play. And, you got to have an edge of your defense. And, so they took advantage of some good things.
You had a chance there with Baldwin to Stoneberger, get back in it. And I don't know if you put a little too much mustard on it. Was that a play that you thought, that's...
There's a bunch of them out there that I mean, of course, there's one right down there in the red zone. You got to, sometimes you look at it. They completed their 2 third-down red zone passes for touchdowns, and and we didn't. We got a chance to have a pick right there down 11. That what you talk about a huge position, and I mean, there's just a difference in some momentum and things getting yourself back into that football game. So, we'll figure it out.
Looked like Jordan Hall got dinged up, but running back to the second pick off. Seen much in the first quarter. Was he hurt, or was it just a whole game?
Cramp. I think that's what we talked about, those emotions. He hadn't played in a couple of weeks, and I think those emotions kind of hit you a little bit, and I think he just cramped up.
Last question.
You knew that you had all this inexperience in the passing game. Was this kind of your worst time to have this kind of situation and all that experience going together?
I mean, again, it's hard to point a finger at just one thing. Yes, there's going to be one thing we'll definitely look at, but we thought we had some experience up front and stopping the run, and we didn't do a great job at that too. So, we're not going to sit here and point finger at any one in particular area. We know we've got to get a lot better in several areas, whether it's the passing game, whether it's stopping the run, whatever it is. But we got to get a lot better as a team.
Luke, thank you very much.